Hi everybody. So today we have a class on personal hygiene. I know we've kind of gone over this. I sent out a video a while ago about it, but I figure it's best if I kind of talk about it as well. And so I'm going to do a video on it. So again, it's just personal hygiene. All this information came from the Department of Health. And this kind of goes over the importance of why it's good to practice personal hygiene. So let's get it started. So, page 1. So I'll just kind of read things over. And this is very important during this time to make sure that we're actually staying clean, we're keeping ourselves healthy. That way, we can avoid some of the problems that, other Californians are running into, other people in the country are running into. As long as we stay safe, continue with our social distancing, but also making sure we're washing our hands and things like that. So the human body can provide places for disease causing germs and parasites to grow and multiply. These places include the skin and in and around the openings to the body. It is less likely that germs and parasites will get inside the body if people have good personal hygiene habits. So, part 1. Good personal hygiene. Washing the body often. If possible, everybody should shower or bath, have a shower or a bath every day. I apologize. However, there may be times when this is not possible, for example, when people are out camping or there is a shortage of water, which happens in some places where they actually have mandates where you're not supposed to use water. This doesn't necessarily include your hair. A lot of times for hair health, it's not the best to wash out everything in your hair every day. Maybe every other day, or when you start to notice it getting kind of greasy or things like that, then you definitely want to wash your hair. But if there is a shortage of water or you're camping, if this happens, a swim or wash all over the body with a wet sponge or cloth will do. Cleaning your teeth at least once a day, and it's at least once a day. So you want to make sure you floss and you brush at least one time a day. My dentist always says, it's recommended for 2 times a day. Brushing the teeth after each meal is the best way of making sure that gum disease and tooth decay are avoided. It is very important to clean teeth after breakfast and immediately before going to bed. So, if you fall asleep and you have a bunch of stuff in your teeth, that's when bacteria can kind of gather up and things like that. And if that's going to happen, then, bad things are going to happen. So just, give them a good brush before you go to bed. Knock some of that stuff out of there. Washing the hair with soap or shampoo at least once a week. Again, like I was saying, doesn't need to be every day. It all kind of depends on your level of how your hair looks and things like that. If you see that it's getting very greasy, then you should wash it. If it's not, though, it's not the best for your hair. Washing hands with soap and water after going to the toilet. So not before. Once you've done your business, make sure you wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. I think Spring recommends 60 seconds. Do the ABCs, things like that. It's A, B, C, D, and don't rush through it, but, kind of count it out as you're washing your hands. Let's see, washing hands with soap before preparing and or eating food. During normal daily activities such as working and playing, disease-causing germs may get onto the hands and under the nails. If the germs are not washed off before preparing food or eating, they may get onto the food, which you don't want. I mean, hands touch all sorts of things, like computers, that other people might have touched, you know, just this paper here. So again, you want to make sure that before you touch food, and again, we went over this with the hygiene with food preparation, but before you touch food, you should really wash your hands. Let's see. Changing into clean clothes. Dirty clothes should be washed with laundry soap before wearing them again. This is important. It's important for a lot of reasons. A lot of times, you might not smell yourself, but other people might smell you. And it might be offensive to them and uncomfortable for them if you're wearing clothes that have not been washed. You might not smell it, but it's best that you make sure you're doing your laundry and keeping your clothes nice and clean. Because it's painful when somebody says, "Oh man, you stink." But it is our job as people to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. So it's best to wash your clothes and make sure that that they're clean, they're not emitting an odor, and it's good for you too. I mean, it's not good for you to be wearing clothes over and over and over again, the same clothes. Or if they've just been sitting on the ground in your room, you want to make sure that you wash those clothes. Fold them, put them away in a dresser drawer, things like that, and it'll be a lot better for you and for everyone, really. Hanging clothes in the sun to dry. The sun's rays will kill some disease-causing germs and parasites. Yeah, I don't do this. I use my dryer. But I do know a lot of people that that do it, and it actually makes your clothes smell better. I've seen people hand wash clothes and then hang them to dry with clothespins, and their clothes smell great, and it's probably even better. I think you'll probably keep color in your clothes longer and more vibrant, and they probably won't wear out as fast. But the dryer is a lot faster, so it doesn't mean don't use the dryer. But if you want and you have time, go out in the yard, hang a wire, and clip up your clothes. Turning away from other people and covering the nose and mouth with a tissue or the hand when coughing or sneezing. So just put something over your face. I tend to do this. I mean, it looks kind of like Dracula, but at the same time, I'm coughing in or sneezing into my arm. And this is another reason you should wash your clothes, especially if you have allergies. Because then there's a bunch of stuff that's all over my clothes now. If this is not done, droplets of liquid containing germs from the nose and mouth will be spread in the air and other people can breathe them in, or the droplets can get onto food. So again, this is very important because you don't want to contaminate anything. You don't want to be responsible for that. And again, it's to keep yourself protected, but also to keep others protected. And that's what's important. It's kind of a mutual respect sort of thing. I mean, we've gone over this with other things, but this is just personal hygiene. If you're going to take care of yourself, make sure you're taking care of yourself right and doing it often. All right, next page. Right, so I kind of covered this up only because it was a little revealing. I know we're all adults here, but still. So this is a person taking a shower. So washing the body helps keep it free of disease-causing germs, and that's very true. I mean, how long we live does have to do with, how well we take care of ourselves. Our life expectancy has gone way up from when people didn't wash very much. Their life expectancy way back when, was not anywhere near as high, and it continues to get higher. the more we actually protect ourselves. The next is someone brushing their teeth. So cleaning teeth helps keep gums and teeth healthy. And then the final one is someone going to a bathroom. Kind of a weird looking bathroom. It looks like a cardboard box, but I don't know. But washing hands after going to the toilet helps stop the spread of germs. And please, I hope you all do wash your hands after you use the restroom. It's very important for you, for everyone. And also, once you're done, make sure if you spilled a lot of water while you were doing it, make sure you kind of clean it up for the next person that's going to use the restroom. Or do it carefully to make sure that, the next person who uses the restroom doesn't have to be like, why did somebody leave this all like this? But washing your hands is very important. There's a lot of people that don't do it. I've been to a couple of colleges, 3, and a lot of times I'd hear people go into the bathroom, use the restroom, and then just walk right out, grab the handle, open the door. And I was always perplexed. So what I would do is I would wash my hands, I would take a paper towel, I would dry my hands, and then I would use that paper towel to grab the handle of the door, open it, put my foot down to hold it open, and toss that paper towel. That way I got nothing on my recently cleaned hands, because of how many people I noticed weren't actually washing their hands after they used the restroom. So, just please be responsible. Everyone. Okay, next page. Alright, so our first one here is washing hands before preparing food helps keep germs out of the body. It's very true. That's why even at program we have those gloves. But I always use the ones that are actually meant for, they're clear all the way through. And those are actually meant for cooking. So you can pick things up. But the minute you've touched meat or anything like that, it's time to switch those gloves out for new gloves. Or if you're not using gloves once you touch meat or anything like that, that's again time to wash your hands. Because salmonella is a bad thing, and you can really make a lot of people sick. Next part, in the middle there. Washing hands before eating food helps stop germs getting into our bodies. So, yeah. Well, it says the same thing, but it's important. Just wash your hands. It's kind of redundant there. Alright, next page. So we have this one. It says washing clothes helps keep them free of disease-causing germs. And then underneath it says hanging clothes in the sun helps to kill some disease-causing germs and parasites. So that's somebody, again, with the clothesline, hanging the clothes in the sun. And then the very bottom part is someone with a tissue. Covering the nose and mouth when sneezing helps stop the spread of germs. So, overcrowding. That's part 2. When there are too many people in any house, the likelihood of them getting disease is greater than if the house is not overcrowded. This is because people in an overcrowded house will be much closer to each other, and it is therefore easier for any germs to spread from one to another. For example, sneezing and coughing in crowded rooms makes it easier to spread cold and flu germs. So, and this is very important right now. This is why they're social distancing. is making sure that, even with your family or how many people are in a room, if you're not feeling well and everything's kind of crowded, you sneeze on one person, that person gets sick, goes to an overcrowded place, and they sneeze over there. It becomes, as we have now, it can become a pandemic. So we need to be very careful and respectful for each other. All right, next page. Sharing towels can spread trachoma germs and other germs which cause eye infections, runny or sore eyes. And you can also, depending on what part of the body they're washing, you can also get pink eye, which you don't want. It's terrible. Several children sleeping in the same bed makes it easier to spread a scabies infection. Scabies is not a fun disease. Again, that's not something that you want. And, it's best to have each child or each person have their own bed when it comes to sleeping. And if you don't, that's why the rest of this is very important, that you're making sure that you're keeping your body clean and that you're doing laundry often. If you do these things and, you sleep in the bed with somebody else, make sure you're washing your sheets and things like that on a regular basis. Okay, each house is designed to allow a particular number of people to live there comfortably. This number will depend upon the number and size of the rooms, especially bedrooms, and the size of other facilities such as sewage system and washing and cooking areas. If the number of people living in the house is greater than the number it was designed for, these facilities will not be able to cope properly. Cope just means they won't go together. It's not copacetic. It doesn't work. For example, large numbers of people using the toilet, that the septic tank will not be big enough to take and treat the additional load of sewage. For good health and comfort, the number of people who should live in a house depends upon factors outlined below. So the number and size of bedrooms. While most people who live permanently in a house will have a bedroom to themselves or share one-to-one or two other people, other rooms are often used as bedrooms. The number of people who should sleep in a room will depend upon the amount of air which is available to each person. The law requires that each adult person has at least 13 cubic meters of air, and each child has at least 10 cubic meters of air in this sleeping area. The type and size of the sewage system, usually a household septic tank system with 2 round tank centers for a maximum of 10 people. And the size and availability of other facilities. The facilities within the house may not be able to handle all of the demands placed on them by the occupants. I apologize. For example, the hot water system may not be able to produce enough hot water, or the amount of food to be chilled is too great for the refrigerator to hold. That's a tough one. Sometimes, if you have too much food and it's all in the fridge, if it doesn't all get cold, that is a place for bacteria to actually start to gather. All right. Last page. So it says, in indigenous communities, overcrowding in houses occurs for the number of reasons, such as there not being enough houses for the number of people who live in the community, families not being able to afford to pay rent on a house of their own and needing to live with relatives to share the cost, people visiting relatives and staying for a long time, And lastly, visitors coming to stay so that they can attend special events such as funerals. It is important that the EHPs remember that overcrowding is a significant environmental health problem in many communities. So again, we want to make sure that there aren't too many people in one place at the same time. It can really cause problems. Sometimes it feels necessary, but at the same time, you have to ask yourself the question, what is more necessary, our health or making sure that family is there to visit and meeting family. Like I said, I grew up in a very big house. I shared a bedroom. We each had our own bed, but I doubt it was 13 cubic meters of space between us. I never had any of the problems that they're describing here, but at the same time, I should have had my own room. Most of us should have had our own room. And this is important for everyone to have. So, when it comes to this, we need to remember that with the state of the world right now, it's best to kind of keep our distance, stay safe, care for each other, especially anyone there in the house, and be willing to voice yourself if you feel uncomfortable about something. Again, I miss you all. This has been Personal Hygiene, and I hope that you learned something from this. I hope it's something that we can all practice. Again, just taking care of ourselves is very important. We all can do a better job. I know I can do a better job for sure. So, anyway, I miss you. Hope to talk to you soon, or see you soon. All right.